Death is the cessation of biological functions that sustain a living organism. It's the end of life, marked by the permanent cessation of vital functions such as heartbeat and brain activity. It's a natural part of the life cycle, yet its exact nature and implications have been subjects of philosophical, religious, and scientific inquiry for millennia. When a person dies, the body undergoes several physiological changes. 1. Cellular death. With the cessation of circulation, cells within the body stop receiving oxygen and nutrients, leading to cellular death. 2. Rigor mortis. Rigor mortis, the stiffening of muscles, occurs a few hours after death due to chemical changes in the muscles. 3. Decomposition. Without the body's natural defenses and immune system, bacteria and enzymes within the body begin to break down tissues, leading to the process of decomposition. 4. Autolysis. This is the self-digestion of cells by their own enzymes. It starts shortly after death and contributes to the breakdown of tissues. 5. Putrefaction. As bacteria continue to break down tissues, gases such as methane, hydrogen sulfide, and ammonia are released, causing the body to bloat and emit foul odors. Ultimately, the body returns to the elements from which it was formed, undergoing decay and returning to the earth. Depending on cultural, religious, and legal customs, the body may be buried, cremated, or otherwise disposed of in accordance with various practices and beliefs. Death is a natural part of the life cycle and can occur to individuals of any age, gender, or background. It does not discriminate based on factors such as age, gender, ethnicity, or social status. Both children and the elderly, as well as individuals of any gender, can experience death. It's a universal experience that affects all living beings, regardless of their circumstances. According to the Bible, the first person to die was Abel, who was murdered by his brother Cain, as recounted in the book of Genesis in the Old Testament. From a scientific and atheistic perspective, death is typically understood as the permanent cessation of biological functions that sustain a living organism. It's viewed as a natural and inevitable part of the life cycle, occurring when vital processes such as heartbeat, brain activity, and respiration cease irreversibly. This perspective often focuses on the physical and biological aspects of death, without attributing any spiritual or metaphysical significance to it. In Islam, death is seen as a transition from the temporary life in this world to the eternal afterlife. It's considered a fundamental part of the human journey, where the soul separates from the physical body. Muslims believe that after death, individuals are held accountable for their actions in this life and will face either reward or punishment in the afterlife based on their deeds. Death is also seen as a reminder of the temporary nature of worldly life and the importance of preparing for the hereafter through acts of worship, kindness, and righteousness. The fear of death is a complex and deeply rooted aspect of human psychology, influenced by various factors including 1. Fear of the unknown. Death represents an ultimate unknown, as no one knows for certain what happens after we die. What happens when we die is a question that has puzzled humanity for centuries, and it's a topic that encompasses various beliefs and perspectives. From a biological standpoint, death involves the cessation of vital functions such as heartbeat, brain activity, and respiration. Beyond that, different cultures, religions, and philosophies offer their own interpretations. Some believe in an afterlife where the soul continues its journey in another realm, either in a state of reward or punishment based on one's actions in life. Others view death as the end of consciousness, with no continuation beyond the physical existence. Ultimately, what happens when we die remains uncertain and varies depending on individual beliefs and cultural backgrounds. It's a topic that continues to spark curiosity, contemplation, and debate across different societies and disciplines. Death and reincarnation are concepts rooted in various religious and spiritual traditions, most notably Hinduism, Buddhism, and certain belief systems within Jainism and Sikhism. Death, in the context of reincarnation, is seen as the transition from one life to the next. It's the moment when the physical body ceases to function and the soul departs to begin a new cycle of existence. Reincarnation is the belief that this soul or consciousness is reborn into a new body, either human or non-human, based on the accumulated karma, actions from past lives. According to these beliefs, the cycle of death and rebirth continues until the soul achieves liberation, moksha or nirvana, breaking free from the cycle of samsara, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. This liberation is often associated with spiritual enlightenment and the cessation of desires and attachments. Reincarnation offers a framework for understanding the continuity of consciousness and the interconnectedness of all living beings across time and space. Cases of claimed reincarnation are often anecdotal and vary in their credibility. While there are numerous accounts, here are a couple of well-known cases. 1. James Leininger. James was a young boy who claimed to remember detailed aspects of a past life as a World War II pilot named James Houston Jr. He recounted specific details about the aircraft carrier his past self served on, the type of plane he flew, and even the names of fellow pilots. His parents were initially skeptical, but were eventually convinced by the accuracy of his statements. Many aspects of James Leininger's claims have been investigated and documented, though some skeptics still question the validity of the case. 2. Shanti Devi. Shanti Devi was an Indian girl who, from a young age, claimed to remember details of a past life as a woman named Lugdi Devi, who lived in a distant village. She recounted specific events and details about Lugdi Devi's life, including her husband's name and the circumstances of her death. Shanti Devi's case gained widespread attention in India and was investigated by researchers and journalists. Many aspects of her claims were found to be accurate, leading some to believe in the possibility of reincarnation. These cases, among others, have been extensively studied and debated by researchers, skeptics, and believers alike. While they offer intriguing insights into the phenomenon of claimed reincarnation, they also highlight the complexity and controversy surrounding the topic. Many factors, including cultural beliefs, suggestibility, and the fallibility of memory, can influence such accounts. As a result, while these cases may provoke curiosity and speculation, they also require careful scrutiny and critical evaluation. In Christianity, the death of Jesus Christ holds significant theological and symbolic meaning. According to Christian belief, Jesus, the Son of God, willingly sacrificed himself by being crucified on the cross to atone for the sins of humanity. His death is seen as a pivotal event in salvation history, fulfilling prophecies and providing a pathway for redemption and eternal life. Jesus' death is understood as a voluntary act of love and obedience to God the Father, demonstrating his selflessness and willingness to endure suffering on behalf of others. It's believed that through his death, Jesus took upon himself the punishment for humanity's sins, offering forgiveness and reconciliation with God. Moreover, Jesus' death is not the end of the story in Christian theology. According to the Gospels, Jesus was resurrected 3 days after his death, conquering death and offering hope for believers in the promise of eternal life. His resurrection is celebrated as the central event of the Christian faith, symbolizing victory over sin and death. Overall, Jesus' death in Christianity represents the ultimate sacrifice and act of love, serving as a cornerstone of Christian doctrine and offering believers the hope of salvation and life everlasting. Death in traditional African belief systems is often deeply intertwined with cultural and spiritual practices, varying widely across different ethnic groups and regions. While there is no singular perspective on death in African traditions, some common themes and beliefs include: 1. Continuation of life. Many African cultures believe in an afterlife where the deceased continue to exist in a spiritual realm. This belief often involves rituals and ceremonies aimed at ensuring a smooth transition for the departed into the next phase of existence. 2. Ancestral veneration. Ancestor worship is prevalent in many African cultures, where the deceased are revered and honored as spiritual intermediaries between the living and the divine. Ancestors are believed to play a significant role in the lives of their descendants, offering guidance, protection, and blessings. 3. Ceremonial rites. Death is typically accompanied by elaborate funeral rites and ceremonies that vary widely depending on cultural traditions and social status. These rituals may include prayers, sacrifices, music, dancing, and communal feasting, all aimed at honoring the deceased and ensuring their peaceful transition into the afterlife. Number 4, belief in spirits. Many African belief systems include the belief in various spirits and deities that govern different aspects of life and death. These spirits are often invoked during rituals and ceremonies related to death, serving as intermediaries between the earthly realm and the spiritual world. 5. Concept of reincarnation. Some African cultures believe in reincarnation, where the soul of the deceased is reborn into a new body. This belief is often tied to concepts of karma and the idea that one's actions in past lives influence their circumstances in future incarnations. Overall, death in traditional African belief systems is seen as a natural and cyclical aspect of existence, with strong ties to community, spirituality, and the continuity of life beyond the physical realm. Fear of death is a complex and deeply rooted aspect of human psychology, influenced by various factors including 1. Fear of the unknown. Death represents an ultimate unknown, as no one knows for certain what happens after we die. This uncertainty can evoke anxiety and fear of what lies beyond. 2. Loss of control. Death is often perceived as a loss of control over one's life and destiny. The inability to control or predict when and how death will occur can be distressing. 3. Attachment to life. Humans have a natural instinct for self-preservation and a strong attachment to life. The thought of leaving loved ones behind, unfinished goals, or unfulfilled dreams can contribute to fear of death.